From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Ron Johnson has long been on the hunt for answers ever since moving to Price, Utah in 1971. The metaphysical or paranormal environment has always been a huge interest to him. Ron first started hearing about the Sasquatch encounters and sightings as far back as the 1960s. He has also personally had UFO encounters pretty much his entire life, from California to Hawaii and Utah. So what causes all of this high strangeness for one person? We're about to find out. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Ron Johnson, a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I want to thank you for inviting me onto your show.
Now, I want to ask you this. I mean, you're someone who has experienced a lot in a lifetime, more so than any of us ever could when it comes to the high strangeness and weird. Did you ever think that your life would come down this path and be just a little bit different from everyone else's?
Not at all, not at first, until I had my first encounter in Riverside, California. Then things started changing my attitude about it.
Well, I want to get to know you a little bit, because our audience may not be as familiar with you as you are with this entire field. You know, tell us a little bit about you. You grew up in California before moving to Utah, and you were someone who, did you believe in all of this sci-fi sort of spectacle, or did it only start when you started having the experiences?
At first, well, I grew up in Hermosa Beach, California. Went to school there, and when I graduated from high school, we moved to Price, Utah. And see, my parents and my brother and sister are from Price, but they just happened to live in California when I come along, so I'm the oddball of the family. When this stuff started happening to me, I didn't really believe in it, but it was at such a young age that I didn't really think about believing in it. I thought it was just a part of everybody. I thought it was a part of your life. I thought it happened to everybody, and then as I got older, I found out that wasn't the case.
No. So take us to that first experience that you had that you can recall. What happened?
Okay. I was in the third grade, and this is back in Hermosa Beach where I grew up. And a friend of mine was telling me about a strange person that he would see whenever he would go to and from school. And I didn't really think that much about it at the time, but there was a eucalyptus tree forest. It was probably about 2-3 blocks long or wide, and the road went through it, and I had to go through this darn thing to get home and to get to school. And this friend of mine was telling me that there was a man that he called Lightbulb Head. And I guess he had a strange looking head, apparently. And like I say, I didn't think that much about it until one day I was walking home from school, and I saw him. He was standing in the ivy up by the water tank, and he would watch me as I would walk through this forest, well, this little area, this eucalyptus tree area. And it just frightened the heck out of me at such a young age. And so one day, I happened to be going home by myself, and he was all of a sudden right there beside me. And I don't remember him coming down from by the water tank or what. And he grabbed my arms and he told me to follow him. And I started crying, it just scared the living daylights out of me. And he kept telling me to be quiet. There's no need for you to cry. And this was back in the 1960s, right around 1960, 59, 1960. And back then, there was a lot of open area in Southern California. And maybe I better tell you first, Hermosa Beach is about halfway between Los Angeles and Long Beach, California. And back then, they actually had farms down in that area and a lot of open land. And he took me to this other big vacant lot on the other side of Pacific Coast Highway. And there was a concrete slab back in the weeds. The weeds were probably about 5 foot tall. And he got me back there, and he had me lay down on the concrete. And I was just petrified. I was crying. I kept telling him, "Leave me alone. I want to go home." And he just never would say anything. And he had me lay down and put my head in my arms, folded arms. And after a while, I didn't know if he was still there or not. I don't know how long I laid there, but it felt like an eternity. And then I just kind of peeked out, and he was gone. And I got up and ran home as fast as I could. And I have no idea who he was, but he had a large bald head. And you ever watch the old Betty Boop cartoons?
Yes.
And you remember Henry on it? That's kind of what he reminded me of. He had the big head and little tiny chin, little tough, small, petite mouth and small nose. And so I ran home, and then after that, I had a weird experience on the playground, and I had felt like something in my ear, and I kept digging at it, and the teacher would get mad at me, tell me to quit picking it, or I'm going to pull my eardrum out. And so that kind of scared me, and so I kept digging at this thing. And it was during recess time. I had a friend of mine look in my ear, but he couldn't see anything. And all of a sudden, this man, I don't know where he came from, this man showed up. He was a tall, skinny man wearing a black suit, thin black tie. And he came up to me and he called me by my name. And he told me, he says, "Leave your ear alone, or you will pull out your eardrum." And then he turned around and he left. And we had a ramp that went from the playground down to the road below. And I walked over there and watched him as he walked down this ramp. And he got down to where the road was. He turned around, looked at me, then he walked off. And I've never seen that man since. But I went to my teacher who was on the playground, and I told her about it, and she told me there's nobody on the playground like that. I'm sure she thought I was making it up, but I wasn't. And but like I say, that was at such a young age, I didn't know if this was supposed to happen or not, But
wow.
that was basically the first experience I had.
I got to ask you, as a child, okay, as a child going through this, where you were almost like kidnapped by whatever this weird creature was. I mean, did you think that you would ever see your parents again?
No, I didn't know what to think. It's so, what do I want to say, confusing, especially at a young age like that. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're going to end up somewhere. You don't know what's going to happen. And so as I got older, got into high school, I would tell my friends about this, and they would just laugh and ridicule at me. And tried talking to some of my, in high school, one of my science teachers about it. And that was a big mistake. And then at that time, when I was in high school, I decided, I'm going to keep quiet about this.
No kidding. Did you ever figure out what was in your ear?
Yes. I finally got it to come out, and it looked like a little small coil spring wrapped in paper or something along that line. And I showed it to my teacher, and she slapped it out of my hand and told me to stop doing that. I wish I still had it. I'd love to have send that in and see what the heck it was. But I do have an implant in that same ear behind it, and I've had Dr. Roger Lear. He looked at it, and he said that there's many people like me that have this. It's like a little metal ball under the skin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So after this experience, and you talked to your teachers, did you tell your parents or your church about this? Did you try and figure out some answers, or at least try and let people know what happened?
Well, I told my parents about it, and my mom told me that that's when I found out about this little bump I got, this metal. It feels like a little metal ball. And that's when she told me about that. And she says, I've had that ever since I was born. And I used to show that to all my friends and let them run their finger across it and feel it. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, but like I say, at that age, I wasn't really into finding out what it was. I was more scared of the situation. But later, when I got into high school, when I got older, then I wanted to start looking into it. But
now,
it wasn't.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, but it wasn't until after, in 1997, this is quite a jump, I got a job in Hawaii as a heavy equipment mechanic and diesel mechanic. And I had 2 encounters in Hawaii. And after that, I told myself, that's the end of it, I'm going to find out one way or another what the heck's going on. And the more I look into it, the more this paranormal stuff started happening to me more and more. Started having OBEs, started seeing UFOs. Then in 2008, I started having encounters with a humanoid type entity, but he would never come in a ship. He would always come. There would be like a beam of light coming through the ceiling into the living room, and as soon as I would see that, it was like I would pass out, and then I'd be someplace else. But it wasn't until after like 1997 that when I started getting serious about trying to figure out what the heck was going on with me.
For a lot of experiencers out there, Ron, they get into emotional breakdowns, they get depressed, they get anxious, they get a little bit weary of people, almost become introverted to the point where, they don't interact with a lot of people. Did you go through all of these heightened emotions as well?
Yes, I was very aloof. Even in high school, I only had one or two friends, and those were the only people that I would, basically associate with, other than my cousin. And I just didn't want to be around people. I didn't like crowds. I just kind of wanted to be a loner.
Why?
Because of all this stuff that was happening to me. It's just I didn't, you don't know what the heck's going on. You can't talk to nobody. Back in them days, there was nobody to talk to, nobody to, nothing to research. You were on your own.
Mm-hmm. How alone did you feel?
Actually felt like I was the only one in the world in my situation. I felt like a lab rat, like Pinky in the Brain. That's kind of what I felt.
Okay. We've got about just under 5 minutes here before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Ron Johnson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. How frequent were these occurrences happening?
Well, back in the early days, it wasn't that often. It was just maybe once every year or two. But as the years went on, after I graduated from high school and moved to Price, that's when things started happening on a much busier scale, much more frequent, and that was about 1972.
Gosh, I wasn't even born yet.
I'm a
1973 edition here. But I do have to ask you, in regards to the experiences, were these aliens that were taking you, or was this some sort of other anomalistic creature?
Well, at the young age, the person that we called Lightbulb Head, I'm not sure what he was. Honest to gosh, I haven't a clue what he was. And at that time, I didn't know nothing about UFOs, flying saucers, entities, or anything like that until after I started researching it. And then after I read Bud Hopkins' book, Missing Time, then I started to kind of pick up on the lingo of it, so that I knew what I was talking about.
Did you ever have encounters with the little grays that everyone sees?
Oh, yes. Many times.
Did they come afterwards?
Yeah, they came afterwards. They didn't show up until after I moved to Utah. And like I said, that's when things really started to blossom for me. But all in all, I've had experiences with 8 different types of entities over the years. And most of them were grays. And I even had some that had a light bluish hue to them. And those are the ones that I encountered in Hawaii.
Were any of them humanoid?
No, these were all grays. And also in my encounters in Hawaii, there was also taller grays. These grays were about maybe between 3.5, 4 foot tall. And there was taller ones there also. They looked like grays, but they were much taller. They were like 5.5 foot tall. And that was the only time I saw those was this was in 1997, 98 when I lived in Hawaii.
Interesting. And we've got about a minute to go here. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say the other ones started showing up after that.
Oh, good.
Bye.
Did they treat you okay, or did you become a lab rat?
At first, I felt like a lab rat, but then things changed. In 2008, I started having a different type of encounter with a different type of being. He was a humanoid type, but he would talk to me telepathically. He would come to me in dreams. He would take me and show me things. He even took me on a ship, on a craft. He let me fly it. That was an interview I'd done with Grant Cameron. And he took me to different dimensions and showed me a device that allowed him to transverse the dimensions. And I always thought they were alien or extraterrestrial.
Right. You know what? You hold on. You hold on right there. Hold that thought, sure, because we'll come back with that. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Ron Johnson, E.T. Contact, and everything weird in Utah tonight on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us tonight. We really do appreciate it. I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with Ron Johnson, lifelong experiencer of UFOs, the paranormal, weird strangeness in Utah, aliens, Bigfoot, you name it, this guy has experienced it all, and he's looking into what is going on with him and others around the world. Ron, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Now, right before the break, you were talking about these alien encounters you were having with grays and how often they were taking you and what they were doing. I mean, it was starting to get a little uncomfortable there for you.
Very much so, especially the encounters that I've had after the encounter in Riverside, California at my uncle's horse ranch.
What happened there?
And, well, I was a sophomore in high school, and my uncle had to put a new water line, replace a water line going from the road up to the ranch house. So he asked me if I'd come out and stay with him and help him do it. So I did. Got permission from my parents, and he came out and picked me up, and we went out there. And I think it was like 3 days later, we would quit like 1:30, 2 in the afternoon, because in August it's so blooming hot down there, it's triple digits. So we would stop working about 2. And so we ate dinner that night, and I was tired. So I decided to go to bed early. And I went into the one spare bedroom, went to sleep. Well, something woke me up. I mean, out of a dead sleep. And I was wide awake, and I was sitting there laying on the bed. The covers are off the bed, at the foot of the bed, on the floor. And I'm looking up at the clock, and it's right at midnight. And I've got this strangest feeling that there's somebody in the room with me. And I'm laying there, and I start to shake violently. Not from being cold, but from being scared. And after a while, I could see this green glow coming out of my peripheral vision. And finally, I got up enough nerve, and I kind of rolled my head back. And right behind me, right next to the kind of where the bed meets the wall, the head of the bed, there's a tall being standing there. I don't know what it was. It was about 8 foot tall, and I knew that was about the height of it because this ranch house had 8-foot ceilings in it, and it was standing there looking at me. It had a real bony look to it, almost like an anorexic person. Had a large cranium head, large black deep-set eyes, a very small petite nose, and just what looked like a very short slit for a mouth. And the chin came down almost to a point. Have you ever read the book by Stuart Swerdlow, True Blood, or Blue Blood, True Blood?
No, I have not.
There's a picture in there, or a drawing of an entity from Sirius A, the star system Sirius A, and it looked a lot like him. And I just closed my eyes and started praying to God, go away, go away, go away. I don't want to see this. And after a while, I finally opened my eyes, and he was gone. But right after that, starting the next night, this bothered me so bad, I just had him take me home. I didn't want any more to do with the horse ranch out there. And so he took me home, and that next night, I started having these weird dreams, and they were so vivid. They seemed so lifelike. And I would be in this little, like, laboratory setting of a little small room, had a table in the middle, had what looked like a counter along one wall, and over in the corner was this same being I saw at the ranch. And I'm standing there, and he talking to me without moving his lips. He's talking to me telepathically. At the time, at that age, I knew nothing about telepathy or, mind speak. And so he would tell me, it was like he was controlling me. I had no choice to do but what he wanted me to do. And he made me get up on this table, and there was another being laying there, and he would make me have intercourse with this being. This is at the age of 14 years. That's quite different for a 14-year-old at that time.
Had you even had the talk with your father at that point?
Yeah, I talked. Yeah, I did somewhat. And then I told my mom and dad about it, and they told me, don't worry about it, just a nightmare. But it wasn't a nightmare, because every time this would happen, when I would wake up from it, it's like everything, when I got done with it, having sex with it, it's like everything would turn a fuzzy white, and I would wake up in bed, and I would have to get up and go clean myself off. There would be a green, kind of a limey green colored substance in my groin area. This used to be real hard to talk about. I would never talk about this to anybody. But I'm getting better at it. I think it,
Did you feel violated in losing your virginity on a spacecraft to an alien?
Yes. It bothered me a lot. I've tried to have relationships after that with different women. I've always wanted to get married and have a family, but I just couldn't do it. It almost feels like I have a family, but it's not here. It's somewhere else. That's exactly how I feel even today.
So you're going through this you're going through this at 14 years old. I mean, that's right at the peak of when you start learning about sexuality and sexual intercourse and
right.
Man and woman, and you have the talk with your father. I don't know if that was also taught in your schools or whatever at that time, but I mean, to all of a sudden have what you believe to be a female alien lying there on a board or some sort of medical type bed. I mean, what was that like? I mean, I could never imagine.
Well, I'll tell you, it was scarier than hell. It was scary. It scared the living daylights out of me at first. But after this went on for years. and till about the time I reached 35 years of age, then it stopped and never had it since. And there must have been, oh God, I don't know how many times this happened. Way more than I could count.
With the same alien?
Same alien, yeah. But every time, as the years went on, this alien had a bald head. Had a fairly large, it was more human looking than the one that was making me do it, standing in the corner. This one had more of a human-shaped head to it. It had a larger cranium, but the nose, the mouth, the chin, the eyes looked more human than alien, even though they were larger. And it was just, it was frightening. And the only people I would tell about it was my mom and dad, and that's it. I kept a secret until about, when was that? I think it was right about 2010, and that's when I started talking about it.
Okay, so with this happening, I mean, obviously you could tell in the tone of your voice it was not an enjoyable experience for you at all. I mean, let's face it, you were raped.
Right. That's exactly how I feel. I'd done an interview with years ago with Elaine Douglas. She was the director of MUFON for Utah back then. And I'd done an interview with her about this. And she got mad. She says, "They raped you." I says, "Yep, that's exactly how I feel." And like I said, I've been trying to have relationships, but it just, for some reason, it just doesn't work. There's too much of a psychological problem there.
Right. No, and I can understand that. What do you think that green ooze was when you would wake up in the morning and it would be in your genital area?
I'm not sure. I'm just assuming it's I don't know. I'm just assuming it's what the entity had mixed with my sperm, because I do believe that I was part of a hybrid program of some sort. Because right after this stopped, I started having these dreams of hybrid babies. And there would be military people in this dream showing these babies to me.
Wow.
But they would never let me touch them or hold them. But like I said, that was a dream.
See, most people who, or especially men who go down this road, they're not actually having the sexual intercourse with the extraterrestrials. They have to, a lot of them get whitlied, and I use that term, very, very professionally, where they get the anal probe to massage the prostate, which makes the penis orgasm, and then that's how these aliens allegedly collect the sperm from men in order to make the hybrid children. Yet you had something completely different, almost like they were testing you on what sexual intercourse was for alien scientific relations. And you're not the first one that I've heard about that. The deceased author, what's his name? Used to be the editor of the LA Times, Philip Kraft. He said that he went through something similar as well, where a female extraterrestrial wanted to have sex with him as part of a scientific experiment because they did not understand the gratification that sexual intercourse brought within humans. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it does. But there's one thing I need to tell you. This entity, if that's what it was that they made me have sex with, it didn't feel real. It felt more like a mannequin or a doll. And I've always thought that it was some type of a sperm collection device, because it would never talk, it would never move, it just would lay there. I know that sounds a little cliche, but it would just lay there and not move.
Almost like one of those AI dolls we see today.
Right, yeah. That's what, like I said, it didn't feel real. It felt more plastic. But yet, when it would happen, as soon as I'd place my penis in there, all it had was a little round hole between the legs there. And as soon as I'd put it in there, it was bam, that quick, and it was over.
Well, you're 14. You don't know how to make sweet love at that point.
Oh, I know. I know it sounds funny, but this happened. This is what happened.
Oh, my goodness.
This I never wanted to get out. This I kept this, and I told myself I was going to keep this a secret to the day I die. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, for Pete's sakes. There I go, mental block. I can't think of her name. She's deceased now, but she did alien sculptures. And I was at the Area 51 conference in Nevada. Can't think of the name of that.
Was that in Laughlin?
No, not Laughlin. This is over by Area 51.
Pahrump?
No. But anyways, she was doing a presentation there at the Area 51 conference.
Indian Springs?
No. Other side of military bases.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done now.
Anyways.
Anyhow.
Alamo.
Perfect.
And she finally coaxed it out of me, and I told her about what happened, and she told me that she's heard similar stories like this before. And she told me, you need to get this out, don't bottle it up, and you need to talk about it. So I've been for a few years after that, I still had a hard time talking about it, but it doesn't bother me now. I can talk about it because there's been other people that's had similar stories like this. I talked at the IUFOC conference in 2010. I met a man from the UK, and I told him about this green substance, and he told me that he had the same exact thing happening to him, except for it wasn't with a entity type looking being.
That is just so strange. So strange. Yeah. Did you have any other physical effects from this outside of that green ooze?
No, not from this. Not from that experience, but other abductions I've had that started in 2008. I would wake up, when they would bring me back, and I'd awaken in bed or on the couch is where this would take place. I would have these strange marks on my body, these diamond-shaped marks, scars showing up, holes showing up like scoop marks out of my feet, my shoulders, my hands. And one time I had a great big diamond show up right where the thumb meets the hand, right there. Stuff like that. But that's kind of typical of abductions. That happens to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so going back to this, how many years did this happen?
Oh, this went from 1968 till I turned 35, so that would be probably, right around 1940, 43, 44, somewhere around there. Oh God, I'm getting ahead of myself here. It happened until I turned 35. And that was probably around 1976, 77, somewhere along into there.
That is a long time. I mean, that's 21 years or 21 years of that happening. I mean, at this point, you have to feel, I mean, what did you feel, as we got about a minute to go, what did you feel your value was?
I felt worthless. Like I said, it bothered me. Psychologically, I was just a wreck. I didn't like it. I'd pray. I'm LDS, and I would go to church at that time, and I would pray to God for it to stop. I don't want this to happen anymore. And it just kept right on going. And then when I reached about the age of 35 or so, somewhere around in there, it stopped.
Well, we're going to continue this conversation when we get back from the break at the top of the hour. And, this is just intriguing. There's so many questions I know I have that our audience is going to have for you. And I think this is an important discussion because very rarely do we get to hear this kind of information from those who have been taken and experienced what it's like to have encounters with extraterrestrials. And it's not always pleasant. And we're learning that tonight. Ron Johnson on Spaced Out Radio with us, Hour 2, coming up next.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. All of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Bedella Tommy is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. On Instagram, you can follow us at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. We bring in our guest tonight, Ron Johnson, as we are talking all things strange happening in Utah, as we are getting into aliens, we're getting into UFOs, we are getting into Bigfoot, paranormal. We'll even throw in some Skinwalker later in the show here on Spaced Out Radio. Ron, welcome back. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
In all of your encounters with these extraterrestrials, especially with the way it went sexually with you, I'm curious to ask you about your hybrid children. Did they ever tell you that they were using you for experimentation on hybrids?
No, they never come out and told me that. And the only reason I say I believe I have hybrid children out there is from dreams I've had of them. I've never been physically shown them, just in a dream, just in dreams.
Now, were you able, and maybe this might be a little bit too personal, were you able to have children on this side?
Yeah. But like I say, it's difficult. It's hard to, I try to have a relationship and it just flat doesn't work. Because of this. It's a block I can't get past.
Is it a trust factor for you?
I would have to say it's more like it's like I'm being forced into doing it against my will. If that makes any sense. That's about the only way I can describe that.
Okay, so with that happening and the way everything has kind of played down over the years with you regarding these horrid experiences, did the extraterrestrials ever tell you why they were using you for such lurid exploitation of your body?
Nope, not once. I've asked them, and they've never responded to me from that question.
Why do you think that they dodged that question from you when you're having an encounter?
I have no idea. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But it's like tough crap. Put up with it. If you don't like it, get used to it. That's exactly how it was.
Okay, so with that happening the way it has, okay, you also mentioned that at times there were humanoid or human people there watching this happen, almost like you were in some sort of military MyLab situation. Did you ever have that feeling? How did you know that was going on?
like I say, with the people showing me the hybrids was in a dream, and this was really an odd dream. I was down in Four Corners area of Utah, and I was up in the Manti LaSalle National Forest, and I was parked at the top of Dark Canyon Primitive area. And I know exactly where this spot's at because I've been there before. And this bright yellow light appears, and next thing I know, I'm sailing through the air, and after a while, then I come down and land in what looks like the desert of Nevada or maybe Southern California. I'm not really sure. But there's a building down there out in the middle of the desert. No paved roads going to it. It's all dirt roads. And I land there, and as soon as I land, they come out and grab me and take me into this building. And then it's like I pass out. And then when I come to, I'm standing on a crossroad out in the middle of this desert. And this Air Force van, this Chevrolet Air Force van drives up, and it's got 2 Air Force personnel in the front seat, and the back has like 12 kids in there. And he rolls the window down and says, "These kids want to see you." And so I go up to the window, and they're all at the window, but inside the van, and they're looking like heck. They're moving around, and they're cute looking, but they look a little different. Their heads are a little different. Their eyes are a little different. And then after a while, there's another military person shows up in a Jeep, and he tells the people in the van to leave. And then he puts me in the Jeep, and he takes me and shows me some different stuff, and then I woke up. But
So you think that the military was tracking you in regards to these encounters that you were having?
I don't know, but I got a strong suspicion that they are. Because I got a cousin that's well, he's retired now, but he was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. And I started telling him one day in Las Vegas some of my ET experiences. And he says, "You need to say no more." He says, "I know all about your experience." And he was sitting there telling me stuff that happened that I haven't even told him. So I don't know what the heck's going on. But I do believe there is. I have no idea. Unless he was in some of this. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Unless he was doing some of this, participating in it, I don't know. I have no idea. But it shocked me that he was telling me stuff, telling me some of my encounters that I've never even talked to him about before. I've never even had on YouTube or anything.
So as you're going through this and you're learning that the military allegedly has these reports or maybe these files on you regarding these experiences, that had to be a little bit uncomfortable in knowing that a lot of your privacy was was actually written down by the military.
Yeah, in Price, when I was living in Price, I got up one Friday morning, went outside to get the trash can off the street. So I went out, got it, and as I was going down the driveway with it, I stopped and turned around, and there was a white Suburban parked across the street. Had blacked out windows, and so I walked back out to the street, and it didn't have any license plates on it. And so I started walking over towards it. I was going to look inside, see if I could look inside. And then when I got about halfway across the street, it started up and drove down the road and then parked about a block down the road. Another time when I live now in East Carbon, Utah, which is about 25 miles from Price, headed towards Green River. And the same thing happened up here. I left, went to Tooele to spend 3 days with some friends of mine. And when I came back, my next door neighbor told me that there was a black Crown Vic Ford parked in front of my house 2 nights. And he said, I went out there to look. He said I couldn't see through the glass, and it said it had government plates on it. And he said he could see flashlights inside my house, like looking around. Over in Duchesne, staying with a friend of mine. You may know him, Ryan Burns. He's a paranormal investigator.
Yes.
And
it's been on this show, too.
Oh, has he? I hope you don't get mad at me for saying this, but me and my former Bigfoot hunting partner, we were over there one night visiting him, and there was a blacks, I think there was one or two black Suburbans showed up at a parking lot about, just down the road a ways where the fairgrounds are. And this one guy was out of the Suburban, and he was pointing something at us. I have no idea what it was. And there's all kinds of weird things happen here in Utah. But
so as you're going through all of this with these ET encounters, and these MyLabs of learning that the government may actually have information on when this is happening to you, how did this affect your personal life and your personal relationships?
Well, it affected me in a way that I didn't want to have the relationship. I had a feeling that part of my life was over with, that when I die, I have a family already waiting for me. That I don't know why I think that, but I still think that.
Okay. So how did this affect your relationship? I've had a couple questions in the audience about this in our chat rooms. How did it affect your relationships then with women who came into your life?
It affected it profusely. They wanted to perform, and I just had a hard time performing with it. It was it's hard. It's like how do I describe that? If you can imagine somebody being raped, are you going to want to go out and have sex? You know, it's just going to be difficult, and it is. And I tell you, it is difficult, and I still have a hard time with it.
Right. So you found it hard to trust women, is what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's me not trusting them or they might not trust me. I don't know. Because I would tell them about my experiences, kind of forewarning them. And it was like, so what? You know, to them it didn't matter, but to me it did. I don't know if I'm answering your questions right or not, but
no, you're doing great. You're doing fantastic here. Doing absolutely fantastic. Let me ask you this in regards to this. Now, considering that there was always somebody or one of these extraterrestrials kind of watching in the background as this whole situation is going down, you know, what was the purpose of him being there?
I don't know. It was like he was, the feeling I had that he was the man in charge, the scientist, the father figure. That's what he reminded me of. He's the big honcho in charge of this. It's like I had to perform for him. It was, oh God, how do I put this? I was the experiment, and he was collecting data from it. That's right. What it felt like. Back to the lab rat scenario.
Right. I can see that. Now, after this happened, is that when other extraterrestrial species started coming along and you started having encounters with them?
Yes, except for they weren't sexual in nature. That part of the encounters ended right about the year 2000, and a different type of encounter started happening. It was more spiritual, more consciousness. And I've had, with this entity, he told me what his name was. His name was Elby, but he didn't tell me his name until 2010, towards the end of my abduction experiences with him. At the very first, when they started in 2008, I had no clue who he was. And but they were more spiritual, or, you know, like I say, consciousness in nature. They would come, take me from my house. They have taken me to a different dimension, showing me things. They showed me how their ship flies. They showed me, trouble with it is, I can't remember that one. You know, exactly what they told me, but they told me that it was in my head or my brain, and that when the time was right, it would come out. I started having OBEs. I would come in from work, lay down just flop down on the couch, and the next thing I know, I'm out of my body, looking at it from above. And sometimes this entity would be there, guiding me into another dimension. One time he took me to the spirit world, the other side, and I met my mom there twice. he had done this. He took me to a place down in the ocean out by Catalina Island, down at the bottom, that had UFOs, had craft laying down there on the ocean floor. You know, stuff like that. And then in 2006, just before the encounters with them, I was in a real bad industrial accident, and I had to be shipped to Salt Lake, and I had to have back surgery. And I was so close to being paralyzed from this back injury. And when I got out of the hospital, I was having a very difficult time moving. I couldn't dress myself. I had to have help getting my pants on. I couldn't put my shoes on. I couldn't put my socks on. And this went on for about 3 years. And in 2010, I kept all the way for these years that I was having this problem. I started to meditate, and I was asking these entities for help. And finally, after about, 6-7 months, I figured they weren't listening to me, so I just give up. I said, you don't want to help me? That's fine. I'll just tough it out. And then in 2010, they came and took me. The pillar of light appeared in my living room, and it was like I passed out, and then I was gone. And I was in what looked like a mill lab setting. There was humans there, and there were these entities. There was like 10 of the entities and maybe about 5 or 6 of the humans, and they were wearing these white smocks, these lab coats. And the one entity came over with one of the lab guys. I'll just call him the lab guy.
Right.
And he told me that the entities want to look at your back, and they want to look at your brain, and they want to examine you. And
right. Ron, you hold on, because we are going to come back here in just a little bit. Ron Johnson, amazing extraterrestrial contact stories that we are talking about tonight. We're going to shift it to other contact stories around the paranormal as well as we return from Spaced Out Radio next.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter @SpacedOutRadio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there! You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have each and every one of you with us tonight. Want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with experiencer Ron Johnson. We're talking about alien contact right now and what it's like to kind of have those type of entities come get us, come take us, do whatever they want with us. We don't have any control, apparently. Ron, welcome back.
Okay, good to be back.
All right. You wanted to finish a point from last half hour.
I did. I won't drag it out too much because I know we're pressed for time. But anyways, this entity wanted to look at my back and my head and give me an examination. So, and I'm having a difficult time with this. And so he gets up on my back, and it's like he's inside my spine from where I had this spinal injury, because I've got spinal cord damage from this accident I had in 2006. And I was having a difficult time talking or walking, and especially dressing myself. And so whatever he was doing to my back, it hurt like hell. I couldn't stand it. It was just unbearable. And then when he took me back home, and then I woke up on the couch again, it was like a miracle. I could get up, I could walk good, I could dress. From that day forward, I could dress myself. It was a healing. I could dress myself, I could put my own shoes on, my socks, and I have never had trouble with it since.
A lot of people have stated that they've been healed by some sort of extraterrestrial entity. You know, why do you think that after everything they've done to you that they're going to heal you?
Well, when they let me fly the ship, they told me that my purpose on Earth was I was picked from birth to fly a ship like the one I flew. And I was to transport certain chosen people off of Earth to another dimensional Earth. And that's what they told me my purpose was. So I don't know if I should take that literally or symbolically.
Okay, I do have to ask, because this is one of the things I've wanted to experience. What's it like flying a ship?
I'll tell you, it was awesome. It is done totally with telepathy, consciousness. It's just awesome. It started out that I went to bed and I seen the pillar of light again, and then everything turned to fuzzy white, and I woke up and I was inside this cubicle. It was a clear cubicle up on the ceiling. And at first I thought it was just a big room I was in. And I'm looking around, and all these entities, LBs are walking around down below, and it's quite busy down there. And after a while, this cubicle I'm in slowly descends down to the ground. Now, there's other cubicles up there all around, and there's different people in each one. And so when I get down there, LB comes over, and the front of it opens up, and I step out, and he tells me that I have to be in this cubicle or I'm going to die. So he says, you need to go back in, and I'll come get you a little later. So I go back into the cubicle, sit down, raise back up to the ceiling, and I'm there probably 40 seconds or so. And then he comes back, and then I descend back down. And then he gets out, and this is when he tells me, it's time that you find out why this is happening to you. And he tells me, he says, you have been programmed from birth to fly this ship, transport people from this earth, chosen people, to another dimensional earth. And I ask him, when's this going to take place? And I ask him why, but he never answers me. This is all he tells me. And then he takes me to the wall. The ship kind of comes, it looks like it comes to a point on the inside. And we walk up in there, and this ship was just magnificently beautiful. It was all looked like it was made from one piece. It was like it was injected, molded. It looked like ceramic. It was just glossy black. There were no seams. There were no nuts and bolts. Nothing. And so he takes me over to this. There's a chair sitting in the middle of this room. And he takes me into this room, and he has me sit down in the chair. And on this chair, it kind of looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a block chair made out of block wood. Looks uncomfortable as heck. But he has me sit down in it, and it was real comfortable. I wouldn't mind having one in my house. And it's got these holes on the armrests, and it's got these indentations that you put your arm and your elbow into. Mm-hmm. And he has me place my arms in them. And as soon as he does that, this, like a control panel appears. And one thing they were doing over the years is they were showing me symbols. It was like going to a school, and they were telling me I had to learn these symbols. Well, these symbols started to appear on this console, and I'm watching it, and then I asked. Elby says, we're going to take a little trip, and he says, you need to fly this ship. And I says, well, how am I going to do it? And he says, it's inside you. Whatever you think, whatever your thought is that you want to do, he said, the ship will respond. And he tells me, where would you like to go? And I tell him I'd like to go out in deep space and see the Milky Way from a far distance. And he says, he tells me at first, when we accelerate, because we were right by Earth, you could see Earth right outside of the ship. Because when I sat down in the chair, the whole front of the ship it was like it disappeared, or it turned into like a window, and I could see out into space. And I could see the Earth down below. And he said, when we take off, we're going to transverse the different dimensions. He said, this is how we travel. We cannot travel from point A to point B because the distances are too vast. And this is how we do it. And this is the only way we can do it. And so I think, okay, I'd like to go see the Milky Way from a distance. And then all of a sudden the ship starts accelerating. And the G-force is just almost unbearable. And then it's almost like I'm to the point of passing out. And then all of a sudden, it's weird. I'm looking out the front of this ship, and it's like taking a book and thumbing through the pages real fast. That's kind of what it reminded me of. And every page that looked like it passed, there was a different scenario going on in there. And it was awesome. I can't tell you.
Was there any sound?
No sound. Everything was dead quiet. There wasn't even any sound inside the ship. It was just total silence. And this only lasted about maybe just a split second, and it was over with, and we came to a stop. And I could see the Milky Way galaxy way off in the distance, and it looked awesome. I loved it. And I'm sitting there, and I asked Elby, how far out are we? And he says, it's time we have to go back now. So I think of going back, and then the same thing happens, except for I really didn't feel any G-force this time. But we went through like the flipping through the pages of a book, and then all of a sudden we were back where we were, and I could see the earth down below. And it was really, really strange, but I'm telling you, Dave, it was awesome. If you ever get a chance to fly one of their crafts, do it.
So you were controlling this craft strictly on consciousness.
Right.
Whatever entered your thoughts, that's where this craft would go.
Yeah.
It was that in tune with you.
Right. It was like it was part of you. It's weird. It was just different. It's the only way I can put it. But it was totally awesome.
How often has that happened, where you've flown a craft?
Just the one time. The other two times that I was on a craft was when they would take me to this. I don't know where they were taking me. It might have been a room on the ship, but it was like a classroom, and I was forced to sit in a chair, and I was forced to watch symbols, and these symbols would just appear, and they would change about every 2 seconds to a different symbol. And this happened like on 3 or 4 encounters, abductions. And I'd ask them what the symbols were for, and they wouldn't say. They just says, you have to learn these. You must learn them. And they said to pay attention to them. And they said, sometime in the future, when the time is right, they will come forth and you'll know the meaning of them. And I have been beating my brain senseless trying to figure out what these darn symbols mean. And then
Have you seen those symbols anywhere here on Earth?
Yes. Elby took me to another dimension, and everything was gray in this dimension. There was no ground, there was no walls, there was no ceiling. It was just like he was in a gray fog and just walking through the fog, but you wasn't on the ground. It's difficult to explain. And he was showing me a device that allows them to transverse the dimensions, or what he called dimension hopping. And he let me try it. And I was in this realm, and he told me what to do. And then all of a sudden, just in a split second, I'm in a forest. And these military people are there, and they're saying, there he is, grab him. And so I go back to this gray world. And then I said, I want to go one more time. So I go back to this realm, and I'm in that same forest. And the military people are there, grab him. And this time they're a lot closer to me. So I go back. And then I'm thinking to myself, I don't ask Elby, but I'm thinking to myself, I'd like to go try it one more time. And Elby says, no, you're through. You can't try it anymore. And I asked Elby, I said, is this a base where you're at? And these symbols appear in my mind, and I could decipher them, and it says Siskiyou. And I said, is this the Siskiyou in Northern California by Mount Shasta? And he tells me, yes, telepathically. This is where our base is. Your government is trying to locate it, but they can't because we are in a different dimension.
Okay. You've mentioned this name LB or LV a number of times during the show. Who is this?
Yeah. He is the humanoid type entity that comes to visit me ever since 2008. And he also comes to visit me in dreams. And he told me in 2012 that any more visitations by him would be in dreams, and if it was going to be a physical contact, it would be as an animal, as a wolf, a deer, or whatever. And, I tell you, I've been having some pretty odd experiences with animals the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so do you know where he's from?
No. I've asked him 2 or 3 times, and he hasn't responded to me. It's like they only tell you enough to get you by. They're not going to tell you everything until the time is right. And I don't know what it is, but with what's going on in the world today, with Antifa and all this crap going on, I feel that there's something around the corner, and it's not that far off. And I just wish I knew what it was.
Okay, so are you in constant telepathic contact with him then?
Just when only when he physically took me between 2008 and 2010. But in the dreams, when he appears to me in the dreams, I have telepathic communications with him. And in these dreams, I'll have animals, different animals, bear, deer, raccoons, kangaroos, all kinds of animals will come to me, and they'll talk to me telepathically, and they'll tell me things, and it's kind of neat.
What kind of messages does he give you?
He's telling me that I need not worry about what's happening today in the world, that when it's my time to go, I will be in a much better place. And then he told me once that it will be my choice if I want to come back to Earth, that I don't have to come back if I don't want to. Reincarnate. He says that choice is yours. And then he tells me that I'm going to be transporting spirits, but I have no clue where to, other than to maybe another dimensional Earth, like he told me before. I don't know. Everything, these entities, when they talk to you, they're very vague on what they tell you. They don't tell you enough to where you can grasp what's going on. They leave you wondering. And like I say, they're real vague. At least the ones I'm in contact with are. And I've been having experiences in the house here where I live with beings showing up in my living room or in my bedroom. And these beings, it's like they're observers. They don't really do anything to me. They just stand there and watch me. But I've had a reptilian, a cloaked reptilian with a big kind of a rose-colored medallion appear in my living room one day. I like to put a DVD on and play it just for noise when I'm in doing the dishes or something. And it had quit playing, so I walked into the living room from the kitchen to start it again so I could have some noise. This was like midnight. And when I walked into the living room, there's this reptilian being standing in the middle of my living room. And I tell you, the feeling of love was so powerful. I thought I was going to pass out from it. And I just stood there staring at him, and he was staring at me. And then after about 5-6 seconds, he just very slowly disappeared. And then I have these little, they look like little graves, but they're only about a foot tall. They'll appear in my house, and I'll see them, and they'll be peeking around the back of my armchair, peeking around the wall that separates my living room from my hall, or they'll be standing in a doorway and watching me. And I even got a picture. I like to do photography, and I was out taking pictures in an old ghost town at a old railroad depot. Mm-hmm. And in the window, it looks like one of these little beings. It's got the almond eyes and the pear-shaped head, but it's real small. It's only like about a foot tall. And it's like he's peeking over the window at me. And I got a picture of that. I'll have to send it to you.
Definitely.
But
definitely. We've only got about 20 seconds here.
Okay. And but I think the physical beings, these are different beings than Elby. And I think these are just here to observe, to see what
that's
I'm
interesting.
Doing.
Well, when we come back from the break here, I want to hit you up on some of your own experiences. You know, you live in Utah, in the state of the weird and strange, skinwalkers, Bigfoot, paranormal, ghosts. You've seen it and done it all. You've had it. Let's find out about that when we get back here on Spaced Out Radio to kick off Hour 3 with Ron Johnson. We'll be back.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is kicked off tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. We say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across the continent and on the digital side on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Bedella Tommy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. On Instagram, you can follow us at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. For the final time tonight, we introduce our guest, Ron Johnson. Incredible alien experiences and encounters that has led all the way to his home in Utah, where he has a bunch of different encounters going on. Paranormal, supernatural, ghosts, Bigfoot, skinwalkers. He's run the gamut. Ron, welcome back.
Oh, good to be back.
What was it like the first time you saw a Sasquatch?
Very intimidating. And that was here in the Book Cliffs in Sea Canyon, or right at the mouth of Sea Canyon. He was about 90 feet from the edge of the road, and very intimidating looking. He was about as tall as the juniper and pinyon pines that are around here, and never moved. He just stood there watching us. And then I told my cousin to get out of the Jeep, and then when I got out of the Jeep and looked, he was gone. But very intimidating.
How far away were you from it?
About 90 feet, approximately. And you could see his features fairly good. He had real deep set eyes, kind of reddish brown matted hair. I would say it was probably about maybe 4 inches long, except for on the side of his face it was much longer. He had gray mixed in and out of it, but I believe he was an old Sasquatch, because he looked old because of the gray. But there were 2 others also, but we didn't see them until after we went down to investigate the area.
Really? So when you're that close to it, like, were you driving? Were you walking on a trail? How did we get there?
Okay, I guess I better start at the beginning. A friend of mine, he works there's a coal mine in Sea Canyon called West Ridge Coal Mine. And a friend of mine, he works there as a truck loadout boss. And he's the first one that had a sighting. He was coming home, come down out of the canyon into the flat area below, and he saw what looked like a bear in the bar ditch on the side of the road. So he slowed down, and the thing turned around and looked at him, and then he could tell it wasn't a bear, so he took off. And he saw it 2 more times, And he sent me an email, and I told him I'd go up and look around. So for 4 days, I went up there looking by myself, and then I'd go up there at night and do Bigfoot calls. And no responses, never saw anything, no hair on the barbed wire fences, nothing. And so it was May 12th, 2012, I was in Price, stopped off at my cousin's house, and I asked him if he'd like to go up and see where the Bigfoot sighting was. He agreed, so we drove up there. And Dave, I feel so dumb. When we went up there, I didn't have any of my equipment with me. I had no cameras, no video cameras. I had nothing. And we got up there, and I showed him where the sightings were. And I said, well, let's drive along this dirt road. There's a dirt road that goes along the base of the Book Cliffs. So we drove on this dirt road, headed west. And we went back about a mile, and then I turned around. I said, well, let's go back. And then it was on the way back, we got within about a quarter of a mile from the highway. And I hit the brakes, stopped, put it in reverse, and backed up. There was a little clearing about 90 feet out in the juniper trees. And there was this huge biped standing there. And like I said, it had reddish gray hair with streaks of gray in it. And it was about as tall as the tree that he was standing next to. There was a long branch sticking off of this tree, and that's about how high he was. But he was kind of slumped over. If he was standing straight, he would have probably been 9 feet or more. So my cousin, he's getting real excited. You know, do you see it? Do you see it? You know, and he's letting his emotions take charge of him. So I'm sitting there, and I got my head pressed on the steering wheel. I'm watching this, waiting for it to move, but it never moves. It's like a statue. So I told my cousin, I says, get out of the truck, or, you know, very slowly. So I got out on my side, he gets out on his side, and I look down there, and they're gone. And so he says, well, should we go down there and look around? And I says, yeah, let's go. So we start to walk down there, and as soon as we get off the road, I get this message, says, stay back, do not follow. And I told my cousin, I says, I'm getting a telepathic message not to follow. So we stood there for a while, and after a couple minutes, he started walking down there again, and I felt pretty good. Still felt very apprehensive about it, though. I didn't know if I really wanted to go down there or not. So we started down there, and about halfway there, my cousin drops down to the ground, and he says, there's two more off to the right here, and I can see their feet. So I'm looking around, and then I can hear this. It's like heavy animals running off, kind of thump, 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 thump. And I could hear this grunting noise, this noise. And so we start to walk over towards where these were. And again, I got that telepathic message, stay back, do not follow. And I told my cousin, I said, I'll stay here a minute. I'm getting that message again. So we're standing there kind of looking around, and after about a minute or so, we walk on over to where we saw where my cousin saw their feet, and there was a clearing there. So we walked over to the edge of the clearing, and there was a flat top hill, probably about 500 feet on the other side of this clearing. And as soon as I get there, I look up on top of the clearing. I could see three, I don't know what it was, but there was three animals just clearing and then disappearing. And I didn't get a good enough look. I can't say if they were a Sasquatch. I'm assuming they were. The three that was down where we were at, I don't know. But I wished I would have had a camera with me. But I didn't have anything with me. And that's pretty bad for a paranormal investigator not to have a camera with them. And I keep a camera with me all the time now.
Did you notice that when after your ET encounters, that all of a sudden everything else kind of exploded for experiences? Did you notice all of a sudden maybe your house got haunted, or everywhere you went there was something strange and paranormal happening?
Yeah. I started to see, it was right about 2000. After my encounter in Hawaii and the encounter I had in northern Utah, I started seeing spirits. They would show themselves in my house. I've had them appear on the passenger side of my truck. When I go out and do ghost hunting, I've had them appear in the buildings that we were investigating. I've had them appear in the grocery store. I've had them come up to me in Walmart. I've had them come up to me at the IUSOC conference in Laughlin. And it just kept getting more and more and more. And then I started having these darn out-of-body experiences were happening quite a lot. And they would happen when you've been physically so tired, you just go to sleep as soon as you flop down on the couch or on the bed. Well, this was when I get physically or mentally tired, that's when I have no problem leaving my body. And this started happening. And, I'd take trips to California, all over the place. Or I'd just spend my time in the living room, kind of looking around. And sometimes when this would happen, after I started having encounters with Elby, he would come and guide me to different places. And in one out-of-body experience, I went to California, but this was without Elby. I went on my own. And I was at the LA airport. And Pacific Coast Highway there's a big tunnel that runs underneath the runway. Cars coming in and out of it. And I was sitting there watching this from above, and I was thinking, wouldn't this be neat to see back in 1940? And just like that, everything turns a foggy gray, and then it's gone. And there I am looking at a bunch of fields, and there's a 2-lane road, and there's 1940s and 1930s style cars driving up and down the road. And this voice manifests in my mind. It said, this is the year 1940, and this is what it looked like near the Los Angeles International Airport. And it was just neat. And then after, I was watching this for probably a couple minutes, and then I said, I'd like to go back home. And then all of a sudden the gray fog came, and then I was back in my living room, and I entered into my body that was laying on the couch. These are the kind of experiences. Oh, I had another one, but this was earlier.
Sure.
This was in 1975, and I did an interview with Grant Cameron on this. And I came home from work, and that night I went to bed. And as soon as I got into bed, I immediately became paralyzed. I couldn't move. All I could move was my eyes. And I'm trying to force myself out of this. Well, all of a sudden, I find myself getting up out of bed, except as I'm getting up out of bed, I'm also watching myself laying in bed. And I'm standing there watching myself, and I start to panic because this is the first time I ever left my body. I thought I died. And after a few moments, a big, bright light, amber light, started shining through the window. And I just started panicking. And I was trying to grab my body, and my hand would just go through it. I tried sitting down onto my body, and that didn't work. And I'm just sitting there. Then I start begging God to stop this. Don't let me die. Don't let me die, and all this. And then all of a sudden, a portal opens up on the bedroom wall. And on the other side of this opening, there's, I don't know if it's a room or if it's a craft or what, I don't know. It kind of looks like a craft, but I'm not sure what it is. But there's like 12 grays in there, and these are about 3.5 foot tall, your typical slant-eyed grays. And 2 of them come into my bedroom through this portal, and they stand on the other side of my bed. Another one comes in, and it looks like he's holding a giant salamander in his hand, a lizard-type animal. And he comes up, and he's showing this to me. And I'm sitting here, God, please wake me up, get me out of here. You know, and I'm trying to get back into my body while I'm looking at this. And then another one starts to come through, and then he goes back, and then they all go back, and then the portal closes up, the light goes away, and then violently, man, I slammed back into my body. I slammed back into my body so hard I fell out of bed.
That is terrible.
Yeah, that scared the hell out of me. But if it happened now, I don't think it would bother me because I'm so used to it.
No kidding.
And then again, in 2000, the same thing started to happen again, except there was no portal opening up. I document all these. I write them down with dates and times, but then I started I became friends with. I was going to start a ghost hunting group, and a guy from Tooele, his name's Derek Von Hatten. He came over and he wanted to talk to me, so I went up to the College of Eastern Utah, which is a college here that we have here in Price. Price is a college town. And he was interviewing people to join his ghost hunting group. So instead of starting my own, I decided to just team up with him. And we've been good friends ever since. But we would go out. Oh, God, we've done ghost hunts all over the state of Utah, from Ogden clear down to Cedar City. But that was quite an experience. And then I started seeing ghosts. The spirits would appear to me. We were doing a house in Magna, Utah, and there was a home invasion there, and 2 women were killed, by a shotgun blast. And the people that ended up owning the home, they were trying to rent it out, but they were always having people move out of the house after they move in. And I'm down in the basement by myself in the pitch black, sitting in a chair doing EVPs. And all of a sudden this green glow appears on my lap, and this image starts to appear. So I get on the radio and I tell Derek and the others, I said, get in here. Things are starting to happen. So it disappears, and then it starts to appear over on the other side of the room. And then I can hear the front door open and shut, and then hear footsteps coming down the stairs. And then as soon as they get to where the room that I'm in, it disappeared. And these spirits, they know what's going on. They know what your intention is. If they don't want you to see them, you're not going to see them. If they want you to see them, they'll show themselves. Just things like this happening all the time. I get EVPs. We do EVPs, and they call my name out, my first and last name. And usually they just say your first name, but I don't know why they like saying my first and last name. But
my friend,
all this stuff is... What?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say, we only got about 30 seconds left with you tonight, and I was just wondering where everybody could find your research and your evidence.
I've got 2 blogs. One is called Utah Paranormal Files, and the other one is called Utah Bigfoot Files. And then I have Utah Paranormal Files page on Facebook. And then I've got a couple of YouTube channels, but I've been putting this off. I got to get a website, a regular website. And I've been looking into these free ones, but they don't have what I need or what I want. So I'm going to just hire somebody to put one together for me.
I don't blame you. Ron Johnson, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What a pleasure it was to hear from you. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am Dave Scott, hanging out with all of you. From SOR headquarters, I want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, as well as on Instagram. That's the one, at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, oh yeah, let's get to this. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the chainsaw-wielding men? Yeah. Charges have been laid against two men captured on video wielding chainsaws after a strange fight at a Toronto park. Police were called to Cherry Beach this past Sunday for reports of a fight. Constable Caroline Declote mentioned that the two of the men involved in the altercation left and returned with weapons. However, they weren't guns, they weren't knives. No! They were chainsaws. A couple of Husqvarnas. Maybe they were Steels. I don't know. The men appeared on video, shirtless, covered in blood, yelling threats while holding idling chainsaws. "Who hit me?" yelled the one man after revving up his chainsaw. "Who bleeping hit me?" Yeah, this is what we're dealing with. How can you tell this is a Canadian fight? They're bringing chainsaws to a brouhaha. Pardon me, looking at the chainsaws, we can confirm they are Husqvarnas. Yes, they are not Steels, but Husqvarnas. The two men, one bleeding from a large gash on the back of his head, then walks towards a Quonset hut owned by the Toronto Windsurfing Club. A member of the subreddit for Our Toronto posted they were biking at Cherry Beach around 10 a.m. in the morning after hearing chainsaws, saw a woman run across the pathway from the beach. That was soon followed by police cars racing towards the disturbance. Another user replied, saying they called 911 after spotting the men with chainsaws. Then they started lunging at cyclists. I jumped into the woods and took some photos, called 911 right after. Police have yet to release the names of the accused or the charges they'll be facing. Who goes to a beach with chainsaws? And if you're in Toronto, what the hell do you need a chainsaw for? There's 8 million people and there's like 6 trees. It's all concrete. I've been there. I've seen it. What are they making? Baseball bats for the Jays? Hockey sticks that could actually score some goals for the Maple Leafs? 67, by the way, Leafs fans. 67. Oh. Who the hell needs a chainsaw in Toronto? Anyways, let's move on here. Fast radio bursts are often mysterious in nature, but not an uncommon observation from deep space. However, researchers have discovered the first FRB to emanate from the Milky Way galaxy. The research details what do they call this? Magnetar SGR 1935 plus 2154, because they just can't give the name of Bob or Phil, okay? Which was discovered in 2014, but it wasn't until April 2020 when scientists saw it become active again, shooting out radio waves and X-rays at random intervals. We've never seen a burst of radio waves resembling a fast radio burst from a magnetar before, the study's lead author, Sandro Marighetti, says from the National Institute of Astrophysics. The FRB likely comes from a neutron star, approximately 30,000 light-years from Earth in the Vulpecula constellation. A light year, which measures distance from space, is approximately 6 trillion miles. Marighetti said and the other researchers detected the FRB using the European Space Agency's Integral satellite on April 28th. Moving on here, astronomers around the globe also spotted the short and extremely bright burst of radio waves via Chime radio telescope here in Canada, also on April 28th. Subsequent confirmations came from California and Utah the following day. This is the first ever observational connection between magnetars and fast radio bursts. It truly is a major discovery and helps bring the origin of these mysterious phenomena into focus. It's unknown how common FRBs are actually and why some of them repeat and others do not. Some researchers have speculated they stem from an extraterrestrial civilization. Here we go. Now we're getting into aliens. Now we're getting into this here. But others, of course, like SETI and Mr. Seth Stoshak, who doesn't even believe he exists, says that explanation really doesn't make sense. No, they're even denying the UFO videos the government has put out. Yeah. The government puts out UFO videos, says we don't know what these UFOs are, and SETI says, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Go figure. All right. They come from all over space and arranging cooperative alien behavior when even one-way communication takes many billions of years seems unlikely, to put it gently, SETI wrote. First discovered in 2007, FRBs are relatively new to astronomers, and their origins are mysterious. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Kind of a horny bear here. Outrage in Mexico right now after a black bear was seen on video approaching a visitor in a nature park, sniffing her hair. Well, the bear was caught and then castrated. The poor guy. It's his area. Some people are questioning the plans to move the animal to a different state, but experts say the move is necessary because it had become accustomed to being fed by humans in the ecological park where it lived. Oh, that's too bad. They said the footage showed the consequences of feeding wild animals for the sake of a selfie. The animal, a juvenile male black bear weighing 212 pounds, was caught because it was considered to pose a risk to visitors in one of the parks. Videos showed it getting very close to a young woman who was taking a selfie with the bear last month. Officials said there have been other close encounters between humans and the same bear in the park and in residential areas nearby. Although attacks are rare, one person a year is killed on average by a black bear in North America. Wildlife experts remind visitors the bears are wild and dangerous and occasionally have unpredictable behavior. Locals in the area dubbed the bear the friendly bear and called it Chippy after the park where it lived. The bear was captured by officials from the federal government and the Environmental Protection Agency while having a snooze in the backyard of a house after its residents alerted the authorities to their unexpected guest. Veterinarians at the Autonomous University of Nuevo Leon checked it over and fitted the bear with a radio collar. They then castrated him. Oh, the poor guy. He didn't even get a chance to procreate, make some little cubs. No, they knocked them nutters right off, a move that is now being investigated. The agency has released a statement saying that the decision to castrate the bear was taken by the coordinator for wildlife at the university after consulting with Profipa's Director General for Wildlife Control, Martin Vargas Prieto. Yeah, Mr. Vargas Prieto argued that the bear had to be castrated to avoid him getting into fights with other bears once he is released into the Sierra de Nido mountain range in the Chihuahua state. Both the castration and the planned move to Chihuahua has caused outrage among people in the state of Nuevo Leon where the bear was captured, but some have commented on social media that whatever led to the decision to castrate the bear and move him, the outrage should be directed at those visitors and guides who are reportedly to have fed him with scraps to make him approach humans who wanted to have selfies taken. Of course, humans are we screw up everything. We totally screw up everything. It's terrible. Total dick move there. Pun intended. Tech tycoon John McAfee has apparently been arrested in Norway because he refused to put on a medically certified mask. So what did he use instead? A woman's thong. McAfee, who made millions with the antivirus software bearing his name, took to Twitter saying that he had been detained by Norwegian authorities who weren't impressed by the mask he was using made out of ladies' silk underwear. Yeah, his wife Janice took over his Twitter page a few hours later and confirmed that he had been placed under arrest while she was merely detained. The couple also shared several photos showing off the offending mask, a black thong. I am insisting it is the safest available, and I am refusing to wear anything else for my health's sake, said the 74-year-old tycoon. Yeah. McAfee first confirmed his detention in a tweet announcing that he would have to push back the meeting time for his group called Red Scarf Society. Trivial issue, but waiting for high-level bureaucrats to arrive. Slow, as you know. Oh, poor John. Poor John. I guess the women's lingerie section may need their underwear back. Nearly 500 billion cups of coffee are consumed each year, making it one of the most popular goods in the world. It's cultivated in dozens of countries by nearly 25 million farmers who depend on it to make a livelihood. But guess what? Coffee is becoming harder to grow. It's a notoriously picky plant that requires very specific conditions, and climate change warms the planet. The places that can sustain the plant are shrinking. Recent study estimates that by 2050, the amount of land that can sustain coffee will have fallen by 50%. But while there may be time to save the coffee plant, the crisis has already arrived for coffee farmers. Deteriorating conditions and plummeting prices have made it difficult to make a living growing coffee, not to mention invest in measures to adapt to climate change. Oh no. I'm so upset. I've only had about 11, maybe 12 cups of coffee my entire life. Seriously. Don't eat it. Back to Pepsi, people. Back to Pepsi. Whiskey connoisseurs in search of a briny dram packing a historical wall-upper in luck. That's because a bottle of Scotch whiskey recovered from the wreck of the SS Politician, which sank off the coast of Scotland's Outer Hebrides in 1941, is now up for auction. The Grad Whiskey Auction, which is conducting the sale, specifically states that the amber-hued spirit is no longer safe, though, for human consumption. Commercial diver George Curry located the wreck along with a sliver of its 28,000 cases of whiskey in 1987 when he and a team working on a subsea cable repair project decided to look for the lost ship in their free time. Of the 5 bottles found on this underwater expedition, Curry kept just one, as he tells the media he'd so often regaled family and friends with tales of the bottle's origin that he decided it was time to bequeath the artifact to a new owner. The lot, which includes a bottle of whiskey, a diving helmet, and bricks from the cargo ship, is predicted to sell for a hefty sum approaching $20,000. Bidding closes next Monday. Oh my. Oh my. I don't know if I would do it. Here's a cute story for you. A Michigan woman who had just celebrated her 103rd birthday and being sprung from lockdown at a nursing home decided that she was going to do something for herself in life. So what did she do? She got her first tattoo. Dorothy Pollock celebrated her 103rd birthday in COVID-19 lockdown at a Muskegon nursing home June 16th, and her family said they soon realized they needed to get her back in the world. The nurse in the home said she was horribly depressed and we needed to get her out. We couldn't see her, so we had no idea how she really was. She was extremely hard of hearing, so phone calls were not helpful, says granddaughter Teresa Zavitz-Jones. Pollock celebrated her Freedom Friday by getting her first tattoo, a small frog on her arm. It was pretty exciting because years ago my grandson wanted me to get one and I wouldn't do it, Pollock said. All of a sudden I decided I would like to have one. And if I could, a frog, because I like frogs. Ray Reisner Jr. of AWOL Custom Tattooing in Muskegon said Pollock is the oldest person he has ever tattooed. She took it like a champ. I didn't even see her wince. Maybe she had half a wince once, he said. Pollock followed up her first body ink with another personal first, taking a ride on a motorcycle. The centenarian said she and her family are now planning further adventures. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. A North Carolina man was reunited with his beloved dog 5 days after the Chihuahua was credited with saving his life during a stroke. 86-year-old Navy veteran Rudy Armstrong, who lives on in a houseboat alone in Oriental with his dog Boo Boo, said he realized he was having a stroke on the boat and he couldn't reach his phone because he was unable to move one of his arms and one of his legs. I didn't want to be there for a couple of days before somebody would come by, Armstrong said, so I said, okay, Boo Boo, go get me some help. Boo Boo ran off at her owner's urging and returned short time later with the dog master, who summoned paramedics to the scene. Armstrong says he believes Boo Boo saved his life by following his instructions. He was hospitalized and then reunited with his dog. I've got tears running down my eyes, he says during the reunion. I missed her so much, man. Good for that Chihuahua. Good for that Chihuahua. I don't think any of my dogs would do that for me, by the way. I really don't. Really don't. So, let's continue on here. Finally, tonight, a man in northern Florida, oh yeah, a beautiful Florida man story, is in jail for drunk driving on his lawnmower on the highway. Yes, Paul Burke had 3 prior DUIs and has his license suspended 3 times, then revoked another 4 times, all for DUIs and failing to submit a breath sample. Well, Burke was spotted last week riding his lawnmower down the middle of Highway 316, where the speed limit is 55 miles an hour, but the deputy who arrested him said he could smell the alcohol coming from his breath and his speech was slurred. When the deputy tried to conduct a file and a sobriety check, Burke said he couldn't do it because he'd been drinking too much. And of course, now he's in jail. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Why do you think there's so much strangeness in Utah? Skinwalkers, Bigfoot, UFOs, and more? Michelle, because they have gathered in faith. They showed up to go to the temple and read what Joseph Smith taught. It was just amazing. These are, of course, sacred secrets. Marty, one of our favorite veterans who listens to this show, says it's hard to buy alcohol in Utah, so many residents stay home, make homemade moonshine like they did back in Prohibition days. The bathtub gin does lead to some strange experiences. Thank you for the clown, Marty. God of Thunder, Canadian Joe, crying today that his Maple Leafs are knocked out of the playoffs, says, I think the Osmonds are behind it. Oh my. John, clearly you have never visited Utah. Once you do, your answer is self-evident. Graham, what is a skinwalker? Jules, it's not just Utah. It's everywhere. Utah is just being discussed right now. Kronos calls it poor internet coverage. That's funny. That is funny. Ryan, location of a very large, deep underground military base or an ET-based portal location. I believe it originates around the Moab area and continues upwards towards the Flaming Gorge UT. Skinwalker Ranch is but one of many hubs in the node. Robin, aliens want a better America. Bigfoot and skinwalkers are running for president. James, I'm not sure, but there is Dugway, which is thought to be the new Area 51, which is not far from where I live. I've had lots of conversations with an abductee that lives here as well. It just seems to be a hot spot like so many other places. Dave, geology and magnetic anomalies. Jeanette, don't forget Missouri. 3 reasons, and they are in the book, The Spark, It's What They Want. I don't know. This person says, I think this area has natural properties that makes portals occur naturally, or perhaps it makes portals easier to form there artificially. Kimberly, it has something to do with the predominant religion there is and its heritage. That's what they think anyways. My brother was married in St. George. Davy, it is one of several places on Earth where the veil is thinner. I am lucky enough to live very close to another one. Tim, an anomaly in the Earth underneath of a material as yet unknown, natural or not, that cause opening or rifts may not even be detectable with known measuring equipment and devices. Kevin, Utah is a rugged and geographically diverse state at the convergence of the three distinct geological locations and regions, the Rocky Mountains, the Great Basin, and the Colorado Plateau. Steve, Mormons. Gary, for a long time, no one lived there. Barry, perhaps because it's such a desolate area compared to other areas away from the prying eyes for the most part. Erica Lukes, former guest, follow the money. Annie, because of weakness or variation in the electromagnetic field. Nicole, I think the state has activity like most other states, but I think the publicity over the years is a driving force of public opinion and speculation run amok. Kira, Utah is in alignment with many Earth ley lines, energetic hotspots for unusual activity, and UFO sightings. Finally, Jessica, because on the seventh day, God needed to take a nap, and an angel came and said, what do I do with the rest of this stuff? And then God said, just put it over there in Utah. Thank you to everybody taking part in the Thought of the Day today. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Thank you to Captain Shirk for getting our SOR News Wire ready, and to Ron Johnson for his amazing experiences and testimonial tonight. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thaw rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone participating in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and of course to all the snarkers and snarkettes hanging out on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. It was a great night of woo, everybody. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but tomorrow, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Have a great night. Good night.